Hello and welcome to another DYF investing video. In this video, we go over some common terms that you'll hear over and over again, like investor, shares, stocks, and dividends. We'll also explain what the stock market and stockbrokers are. Now, if you're like me, just hearing those two words, stock market, is too much. Before I understood any of this, the concept of the stock market was completely foreign to me. I didn't understand what a stock or a share was. I didn't understand what is meant by the market, and trying to wrap my brain around the idea of buying and selling something I'll never hold in my hands was confusing and intimidating. It also made me feel like it could be an easy way to be taken advantage of, or that I'd make some huge mistake and lose everything. But it didn't take me long to learn that if done well, long-term investing in the stock market is actually one of the safest, most consistent ways to grow your money. So first, let's start with the word investing. A simple definition is to take a resource and use it in a way that you might gain from some point in the future. You may see something like buying a house as just making sure you have a place to live and not an investment. But buying a house is an investment because so often the house grows in value, and when you sell, you're likely to sell for a lot more than you paid. So it was something you invested time and money in that generated a profit in the future. When you buy stock in a company, you're doing the same thing. Stocks, also known as shares, same thing. They're little imaginary pieces of a company. As an example, think of a company like a big field of dirt. So I want a farm, but right now all I have is dirt. It's uneven, there's no water, it's full of rocks and weeds, and it's not worth very much. But it has a lot of potential. Problem is, right now, I don't have enough money to buy the seeds to get things going. But then I get an idea. I can sell little sections of my field to my neighbors. I don't want to literally sell this exact piece to them to come and plant their own seeds on. No. What I want is for them to give me money so I can do that. And in return, they will profit from all of my hard work. So I take my field, I divide it into imaginary sections, let's say 25. And I decide to sell 10 of these sections for $10 a piece. I talk to my neighbors, and soon 10 of them purchase one section each. When they buy a share, they now become investors in my farm, hoping it will be profitable in the future. So I take that $100 in investor money, buy the seeds and all the other things I need, and over the next several months, I turn this field into a working farm that grows some really nice pumpkins. And then at the harvest, I sell those pumpkins for another $100, and now I have a $100 profit. Now let's say two of the investors said they would only buy if they got a small part of the money I make at the harvest each year, maybe 1%, for example. So now they get $1 from me based on the $100 profit I made from the pumpkins. That $1 is what's known as a dividend. If you're an investor who owns stocks that pay dividends, you get paid when the company makes money. Getting paid dividends does happen, but it's not really all that common. So if it's not really all that common for you to get paid when the company makes money, why else would you want to buy a stock? Well, remember in the beginning that the farm was just dirt and it wasn't worth very much? Now that I've done all this work and it's growing some really nice pumpkins, it's worth more. If I sold the whole thing today, I'd be able to sell it as a working farm, which is worth a lot more than just a piece of dirt. So now let's say a different neighbor sees my farm. He sees it as so much more valuable than it was when it started. He knows how well I did at the harvest, and he believes that I have such a good farm and crop that I'll do even better next year. So he goes to one of the investors who bought the first share and says, hey, I'll give you $15 if you sell me your share of the farm. So now investor A, who bought my stock for $10, sells his share to investor C for $15, making a $5 profit for doing absolutely nothing but buying stocks last year. And then maybe next year I make even more at the harvest, and a lot of my neighbors now want to be part of it, and they're willing to pay $20 a share. Any of the investors willing to sell their shares now will make a profit based on how much they bought it for in the beginning. And so from this we see that a stock is just an intangible piece of the company. When you invest, you don't get to pull a pumpkin out of the ground or a brick out of the wall and say, this is mine. but you're a part owner because you gave me money to help grow the pumpkin or whatever the product is. And you stand to profit either way, either through receiving a little payout when the company makes money, the dividend, or when you sell the stock to another investor, hopefully for a lot more than what you paid for it. The stock market, or a stock exchange, then, is just a listing of the stocks to buy and sell with their prices. So in our farm example, the stock market could be just a list of farms and their share prices posted on the bulletin board at the farmer's market. Now add to that a couple people standing there ready to help you buy and sell, and you have stock brokers. These are men and women who, for a fee, will go between the farmer and the investor to buy and sell the shares. Now, our example is so simple, you wouldn't need a stockbroker. But in real life, this would be impossible. There are thousands of companies and millions of people investing, and in the past, you needed someone to make those trades for you. But in recent decades, the internet has opened up a whole new channel for individuals wanting to invest. And you actually don't need a broker anymore. You can buy and sell on your own through what's called brokerage accounts. There are some huge advantages to this, and we'll go over that in future videos. But one of the most important ones is that these accounts allow you to trade for much lower fees, freeing you to make more money and keep more of the money you make. Of course, you can still use a broker or an account manager if you want to, but ultimately our goal at DYF Investing is to teach you enough about the process so that you can do this on your own without a fund manager. Now, if you're curious about the tools, there's a link to our website in the description below. Feel free to check it out. We provide the tools, you make the educated decisions. Let's do this together.